Yes. Welcome to the Carroll Community Center Building Committee meeting of December 10th, 2025. Following the guidance issued by the state in 2020 regarding the open meeting law, this public meeting will be held remotely, and individuals wishing to participate may do so by utilizing Zoom video conference technology. To join the meeting by video conferencing using a computer, tablet, or phone, please refer to the Town of Dover website under Meetings and Agendas. As I mentioned, this meeting is being recorded. I'll start with a roll call of committee members present. Um, David Billings,
Here.
Ruth Townsend,
Here.
Luciana Berti is not here, and Barry Coleman is not here. So and by the way, my name is Dick. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Dick Malcolm, chair of the building committee. So there's three of us out of our committee of five. That gives us a quorum, so we can get started. First order of business is approval of minutes of 10/15/25. Any discussion?
Nope.
If there isn't any discussion, then I move we approve the minutes of 10/15/25. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, are you in favor? David,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
and I am yes as well. Okay, and with that, I'll turn the meeting over to Trey Logie from the Colliers Project Leaders, who is our owner's project manager.
Good evening, everyone. Construction progress is the next agenda item. November progress, we have FM, our architectural firms, produced a few ASIs for some additional work, additional benches. The ASI has been produced for that. ASI for the downspout for the roof on the Springdale entry, and then an ASI for basketball hoops being these are the winches to be motorized. Moving on into the building interior, not a lot's going on the site side of the work, but building interior, still working through the punch list items. And the punch list has been monetized, which I will go over with you guys a little later on in the presentation in the meeting. December progress, we're going to have upcoming events, and really it's just wrapping up the punch list completely. So that's construction progress. I don't really have any photos to share with you guys because not a lot has been going on other than the punch list, and these are little onesie twosie items that just need to get addressed. Any questions?
Yeah. Quick. Are we now that we're getting the cold weather? Are we getting any ponding by the front door? So, look, not sure we're going to get any downspouts anytime soon. So, Mark or Carl, is this becoming an issue at all?
I noticed the last week there is some on the if you walk out on the Springdale side on the right side, there is
Okay.
some ponding of water on that side. I did notice last week. But I don't know if Carl's noticed anything else.
No, I haven't noticed anything.
Okay.
We do, we are, David, we did have we met with regarding the, water collecting in that area by the
Yep.
front door, and to the Center Street side of the sidewalk, just as you enter that building on the north side. We talked with FM and we talked to Arcadis, our landscape architect. And there is a suggestion in place on adding a drain to connect into a neighboring drain and change the grass out to some plantings. Because we've also noticed, of course, that the grass is suffered because of the ponding of the water. We're waiting for some final documents so that we can get some pricing together, and then with that, we'll talk about it with the committee when we get that together.
Okay. All right.
No further discussion. We'll move on to budget update. So budget report. So line item A here, building and site. This is MOCC. So today, paid to date, we have this 19,170 with a remaining balance of 1014. This is with the withholdings, just to make sure everyone's aware of that. Bottom line picture, project management, we're out of fee. And then as well, FM's fee is up to date and they are out of fee as well. So bottom line picture, contingency, we have 308K remaining. And then total project budget, we have 553, well, 54 rounding up K. So that's some snapshot of the financial report and budget. Any questions there?
I realize and apologize for having to miss the last meeting because we had a Board of Selectmen meeting at the same time. But getting down to 308, that's a huge decrease from the last time I plugged in. Was there a large item that decreased that contingency?
Yeah, so PCO 111 is being tracked. This is MOCC's final completion and schedule extensions for general conditions, which totaled 1.1 million. And we're working through that. Our comments have been sent to M. O'Connor. I'll show you in a little bit. We do have a placeholder of what we think is really owed. And that's that decrease that you're seeing, Dave.
Thank you. And you're aware of the little demand notice that the town got 2 days ago?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is the rest of the committee?
Yeah,
David was on that email. Yeah, Dick was on that.
No,
Okay.
I'm not aware of it.
I'm sorry, Ruth, I didn't forward it on to you. My apologies.
Yeah, so Dick, if you could just do that to bring Ruth up to date, and then I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
yeah, my other question would be on the construction budget. The requisitions that you forward to us, 26 and 27, show more paid than what your budget is showing. So have we only paid 19.17?
Correct, Dave.
Okay, so their requisitions aren't correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Through the withholding process, they kind of just kept the running tally of what they were fully getting paid. So that's why that's showing this, and then the recs are off. So, but that is the correct amount that's been paid out, that 19.1,
All right,
and then
so
the
we're
unpaid.
Yeah, so we're still holding just over 1 million.
Correct. Without
Okay.
these next two pay apps.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that in a bit.
Yep. So change the next agenda items, just kind of going through the contingency log with you folks. So these are all from, and you've seen all of these. And then from last meeting, we had a few that were approved, 108 and 107 and 102. So all in all, hard cost approvals were at $894,521.39. This is the running change order log for hard costs. So tonight I had some PCOs that were involved in the shared folder, 81, 113, and 114. These are the ones that I will be seeking and presenting tonight for approval. 81, these are bollards that the AHJ had requested for protection of more or less the fire from the tanks where they plug into. There's one along the center section of the accessible parking, and then there's two in front of more or less where the sidewalk ends and the mulch beds start before we get into that generator area. Again, this is an AHJ request. This total is $11,402.56. I have reviewed this. About 7K of this is just the bollards themselves.
Yeah.
And then an additional 4K for the labor and, excavation, footing pours, and equipment. So I do think this is a fair number. Again, this is an AHJ request. Those tend to not go away. So this work has been completed, FYI. So I just
I'm
wanted to run
sorry,
you through that one.
Trey, what's an AHJ request?
So this comes from either the building department, fire department, police department. These are requests that are from an authority,
Okay.
not just the owner or a field condition, for example. These are requested again from someone else outside of the project, i.e., who has authority, as I mentioned. And so this is coming from the fire department.
Okay.
Authority having jurisdiction,
Yep.
AHJ.
Thank you. You're educating me in whatever, building 101.
Well,
Happy
Trey,
to do so.
I'll just jump in to say these bollards are specific to the PIVs, which probably everyone recalls years ago when they were presented. We went back and forth a few times. They were included in the project. So, in back to the beginning, the PIVs weren't part of the project. They are not code required, but it made a lot of sense to put them in the project based on some conversations with the fire department. These bollards are really protecting the PIVs that have been installed. So both in the traffic island. So if someone is in their car and they miss their brake, we want to make sure that the PIVs are protected. And similarly around the corner as you're driving past the fuel pump building.
and BIV stands for, excuse me, Katie. for-
Post indicator valve.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Gold star, David.
Just to give just to add to your acronym library.
Yes.
Good. So, all I need to know is you don't want someone backing into it.
Good.
It'll cost you more to replace them.
So 113, PCO 113, this is a lighting control remote. So reviewing the specs, these next two aren't owned. So this lighting control remote, this is for our stand-up exterior lights. There's multiple controls to these lights. And we've been working through the bugs of this. And one of the things Griffin came out when we started having these issues, they had this remote that essentially has different settings and controls to it that allow us to change these settings. We were working through the bugs, as I mentioned, and through their panel, we were having some issues with dusk to dawn and motions. So this remote allows us to have a little more control of these exterior lights. So that totals $480.09.
Is this supposed
These
to
are the
control
lights.
them as opposed to, once you set it, it should pretty much be set. I don't really want to pay for a workaround. I want to get the system working.
So-
$480 is nothing. But we got to get the lighting control panel working and people knowing how to run it.
Yeah. Mark, do you want to touch on this? Because you've
Yeah,
been kind
so,
of hands-on with this mostly.
Yeah, so the remote is for each individual light pole has settings. So you could set, so for example, when that light, how bright that light gets, how dim so when it goes to dim, how dim it is. And then also, so for example, after 5 minutes of no motion, the light can go to dim. After, an hour, they can go off. And so there's just a bunch of settings. There's a main system that we can set dusk to dawn and all that, but that doesn't control each individual light pole. So this remote allows us to set settings on each individual light pole that will then fall under the main light system. But what we're struggling with is we were doing dusk to dawn, but we had no control over, for example, there's some lights in the back we were trying to get a little lower. in terms of how bright they were getting, but we had no control over that because we didn't have the remote. So this remote gives us the ability to change each individual light pole.
It's a very complicated system. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I think it found
Yeah.
out it's very a lot entailed into the system, but
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And then PCO 114, this is a Jim Curtin remote. We owned one in the base bid, and it was just a request to have an additional one for
Sure.
$314.91. So those 3 PCOs that I would present tonight for a motion for approval. I'll leave that to Dick now, unless there's any further questions on any of these 3 that I could explain.
Nope.
I do have a question, but it's not related to approving them. So please bear with me. Mark, is there a place where all of the remotes for everything in that community center, where do they live? And how would we know that one is missing? Because the worst thing that's going to happen is we have these beautiful systems and then the remotes walk and then no one can use them.
Right. So the remotes that we do have, so right now, for example, the Jim Curtin is one remote. That is right now the only one we have. It's living in the gym, in the locked storage room. Just so everyone knows, and the custodial staff knows that, the Park and Rec staff know that, just because we're the ones most often using it. The one for the lights, right now I have that in the, but that will go to the maintenance office once everything is settled and we're comfortable with all the light settings. So those are the 2 that I'm aware of. Everything else, any other building related, would go in the maintenance office.
Okay, that it just might be a wise thing to put, for lack of a better word, a policy or a procedure together. Hey, everybody, this is where they live. If you need one, this is where it is. And please put it back.
Well,
Yeah.
Dave, the only ones that are going to have control is going to be building maintenance and Park and Rec. Nobody else will have access to any of the remotes.
That helps a lot. Thank you, Carl. But you see what I'm saying. So sorry, I don't want to take the committee's time, but while I was thinking about it, wanted to make sure that we don't have the risk of these things walking.
Okay, is there any more discussion on these 3 PCOs? If not, then make a motion to approve PCO 81, bollards, PCO 113, lighting control remote, and PCO 114, Jim Curtin remote, for a total of $12,197.56. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, are you in favor? David,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
and I am yes as well. Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, we'll go to soft cost approvals. So these are obviously majority of these are order requests. From last meeting we had the AEDs, if you recall. So that is the latest one, and so soft cost to date $659,046.52. Tonight we have a couple that are kind of with the town still, and then we are going to present this one tonight, which is door counter / data collector. And let me pull this up. Mark. So I'll just give you a little background on this. Mark can give you the nitty-gritty. But it was discussed with the town manager and everyone that this would be a good thing to have, especially the data collector, and just seeing how much foot traffic's coming in and out of the building. So Mark, you wanna go from there?
Yeah, sure. So yeah. Originally, I know when we were in the building, we kept hearing clicking at the doors, and I thought those were counters. They're not. They're just motion sensors. for the doors, so they're not counting anything. So obviously COA, Parks and Rec, we track participants, but there's no system or any way to track overall building usage. So for example, last night we had a soccer class in the gym, 14 kids are registered, they're in there, but we had a number of families. What we noticed is parents are not just dropping off anymore, they're staying in the building. So we had 3 parents in the cafe, we had 2 in the lobby sitting there, we had 2 dads outside the gym, we had a couple upstairs. So there's no way we're tracking those extra 15 people that are using the building. We had another parent in the study doing a puzzle with their child while they waited for that class. So after talking with Mike and talking with Janet, we wanted to have some centralized building-wide, data collection. And for example, the warrant committee, when we met with them for our first budget meeting, they asked, how many people are using the building? And we have a rough estimate for participants, but that really is not capturing a total number of people that are using the building. So we had looked into a few options. Eco Counter was one that we had, myself and Nicole, our assistant director, we met with them. DCR, MassDOT, City of Waltham, Cape Cod commissioned a couple of their clients. And it just allows us accurate counts of people that are entering and exiting the building. And one of the things we wanted, it doesn't use facial recognition. So I know that's one thing for the public, it's not using facial recognition, it's using shadows. But it'll give us some data, and it'll give us, usage flow by day, by hour, peak hours. It also allows us to get reports based on weather. So for example, if it's a snowy day, we'll get a report, it's 20 degrees and snowy, maybe that's why less people came into the building. But it also supports staffing, maintenance, planning for the future, any future growth, any justification for budgets and, moving forward. So just, there's a bunch of reporting that's part of it. And it allows us also to integrate. For example, we could post that on a website to say how many people are in real time are using the community center. So it's just something to consider. Again, it's more of looking forward and talking with Janet. I know the COA board was in favor, the Park and Rec Commission, talking with Mike Blanchard. It's just something we felt like we needed moving forward to get an accurate number of how many people are using the building and what's the return on the investment for the town for this brand new building.
Can everyone see my screen with the quote up?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just,
And one thing just to add for the quote, obviously there is a yearly fee of $1,080 that we would split between COA, Parks and Rec, and the community center budget. So that would not be included. So the actual, fee would be around $8,900. So the $1,000 would not be included. That there would be split between the 3 entities.
And does this include installation, this number, or
Yes.
it does? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
just not sure it's a real building issue. I mean, town hall doesn't have a counter in most buildings. I've never had a building that actually counted the people coming and going. And I do a lot
Yeah.
of.
So I think right now the library, I think is the only one right now that has one in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it. It's just really not a building issue. It's more of a management issue. So I would say it's up to the selectmen.
Well, since Mike has recommended it, it's going to give you a strong tilt.
Okay.
But
I mean,
I think your point is very valid, David. Very valid.
Yeah, and talking with Mike, he mentioned, obviously bring it to the committee first, and then, but yeah, obviously it's a committee decision, and but yeah, it's that this was the first step at it, but yeah.
Well, then why don't we look at it this way? And as a committee, do we think it makes sense to have this? Not what budget it's coming out of, but just the concept of having a, this eco counter.
It is something that we've looked at in the past and really wanted better figures for, more concrete figures. Because I remember years ago when we were looking at data for doing different things with the building, we needed that information, and we got the bare bones from COA and Parks and Rec, but we never had, like Mark was saying, the people that are just coming in and using the building without registering. So I agree with Mark. I think it's something that would be useful, particularly to look at future budgeting costs and whether or not we need the staffing, extra staffing, or other management decisions.
Yeah. And I think that's, and that data also I know will be, the warrant committee will be very interested in as well.
Okay.
I personally think it's a great idea. Get the data. It just helps for future, as Mark said. I don't need to reiterate it all, but I'm in favor of it. David?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the question then has become, what budget does it come out of? Does it come out of does it come out of our building budget, or does it come out of from the town? So from the committee standpoint, we recommend having it. We don't know where it would come from yet.
Well, I think if we're voting on it, it would come out of at least the initial installation. Does it get integrated with the building management system? Is that kind of where it kind of lives?
So it wouldn't be integrated with any of the current systems. But yeah, it's just they would install it obviously at both entrances, and we would be able to get reports and access for Janet and myself. But yeah, it wouldn't integrate with any of the current systems.
Okay, so I mean, we have a lot of motion sensors and occupancy sensors
Right.
and all that stuff, so it's a standalone. Okay, I would say it's the building should install it, and then the departments would do the yearly update.
So why don't we did Michael Blanchard Mark did Michael Blanchard have a recommendation as far as what bucket it comes out of to pay for this?
No, so in talking with him a few weeks back, so he felt like initially to come obviously to the committee and see if there was approval from the committee and have it come out of the building project. But if not, we'd have to go back and see, is it something we put into the operating budget, or figure out another way to potentially pay for it if it's something the town really wants. But yeah, his suggestion was to come here first and go to the building committee. He felt like it was part of the project. Like as David said, the installation and the hardware, everything else after that, the yearly fee and all that, obviously that's on the departments. But the actual installation would be within the committee. But obviously, if that's not recommended, then we would go back and figure out another way to pay for it.
Okay. So why don't we discuss that, continue this discussion on it then? My opinion is that we would take it out of our budget. And that's how I feel on it anyways. Ruth, do you have an opinion?
Yeah, I'm happy with that, with the installation and any hardware, and then as Mark said, the continuing subscription and updates from their departments.
Yeah. Okay. David?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Seems reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. Are we gonna, Trey, are we gonna combine this, or are we gonna do these individually? I can't remember what else you had on the slide.
I just have the basketball hoops, the motorization. I can review that with you too.
Well, why don't we vote on this now then?
Okay.
Before we get it and then we'll do them individually. Okay, so I move that we recommend for approval to the Board of Selectmen Eco Counter at a cost of $9,899. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, are you in favor, David?
Yes.
Ruth?
Can I just ask, is that the right amount, or was what?
No,
Mark
it's not. I'm
saying that
sorry.
we need
That's
to
why I
take
pulled up
that
my
thousand off?
calculator.
Oh,
Should be
okay, thank you for
89. I think it's
catching it.
8,900 or 8919.
Eight
88.
$8,819.
Yes, that's it.
8,000, okay, well then let me redo this motion then. Okay, so strike that previous motion, amend that motion, excuse me, to say, redo that motion to recommend for approval to the Board of Selectmen an eco counter in the amount of $8,819. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, are you in favor, David?
Yes.
Ruth?
Yes.
And I am a yes also. And Ruth, thank you for picking up on that.
Okay. Next, we have basketball list, or excuse me, a basketball scope. So below, I'm getting you a not to exceed amount here, just to let you know. We didn't want to wait a whole month to get this process rolling because it is affecting day-to-day operations of Mark's staff. And the quicker we get a jump on it, the quicker we can start the procurement process and getting the work completed. So what the original base scope was, this is regards to the basketball hoops and the winches and the aircraft cable for these hoops, raising and lowering them, i.e. for pickleball, other activities that we don't need the hoops down for. So during this whole conversation, we did talk about this. Mark had brought it up that it's taken them like 30 to 40 minutes a day hand cranking these. Everyone's getting cramps in their arms. So the thought was that we would get 6 motorized winches all on remotes. So I did a kind of cost analysis. These motorized winches, they're about $3,000 a piece. So you're looking at $12K. Remote programming, this is kind of the controls aspect, $4,200. Some conduit runs to each location because these would need power, $1,000, and then the wire, the electrician, the tech to install the winches and the blocking for these, and then just some miscellaneous material. So all in all, I came up with like 38,612. But I'm going to recommend a not to exceed number of 45,000 for this scope. And Katie, you want to try to review these 2 photos just to kind of bring everyone kind of up to speed on what we're talking about here for that amount of money?
Yeah, happy to do that. Thanks, Trey. So this is just a markup of the scope. So that we have 6 backboards, all of the support and the cables and all of that would stay as is, where is. It's, there's no reason to change that. What you see on the wall at about 10 feet above the finished floor is a piece of wood blocking, and there is a winch on the wall. It's a manual winch. So in order to operate that, there is a long stick, looks like a pool skimmer kind of a thing, that you can stand on and operate it by hand. What we owned in the project scope is it's called a winch winder. It is something that you can attach to that to help assist that process. There's a drill attachment. However, you need to stand on a ladder to do that, which we all agree is not really best practice. It is not the safest idea to be standing on a ladder and then also to operate this. As a reminder, we'd actually had this conversation with this group a little over a year ago. Mark had raised his concerns. We had a number of conversations with the contractor related to our concerns about if we could lower them. I think what we heard was not entirely the full story. We did believe that this is something that you could do while standing on the ground. You can stand on the ground and do this, but it is a lot of effort. It's manual, to be clear. So what was submitted in the project is what will be owned in the specifications. But at this point, we're proposing you would take out the manual winch. So literally that box on the wall gets removed. A new one gets installed in that location. Because it's electrified, it will need power. So what you can kind of see in green would be conduit, and that would run power to each of those 6 locations. One option would be to have switches for these, which we can do. However, because everything is installed, it would require adjusting all of those pads. So all of the equipment pads on the wall would have to be amended, and we'd have to get conduit to it. So the alternative is a remote antenna. It works very similar to the curtain that opens and closes with the remote that we talked about before. So they would each have, there's programming associated with that, but that's a different way, so we don't have to get power to them. So it's as far as the installation effort, it's really just the winches. That's the part that's removing and reinstalling. The electrical, which would be, a separate subcontractor. And then the controls for the antenna and programming to make to make them operate. I know, Mark, you had mentioned in a previous facility, you were able to use the same remote for all of these, for both the curtain and the backboards. I have reached out to our rep to coordinate that. We may be able to just use the 2 remotes that you have for the curtain. Alternatively, we may have to get a different remote for the backboards individually. But either way, they would each be on their own system. So of the 6, if you wanted to close half of the gym and raise up 3 of them, you could say, backboard 1, 2, and 3. They would raise up automatically. So it would just be a, plug and play, and would not require, I think Mark was saying it was upwards of 45 minutes and a serious cardio workout for someone to, to manually raise all of these. Hopefully I hit the highlights. Anything else you wanted me to? And basically this is the electrical plan. So there's power to electrify that winch. That's part 1. And then the other one is just making sure that we've got, the controls will be done remotely. And so it's I believe that will probably go in that storage closet. These are all coming from the same electrical panel, which is just to the left of the gym. It's just on that side of the wall. And we've got capacity in the panel. So that's how it will get powered.
Katie, can I just add one thing? So
Yeah,
just
please.
currently, so if we went back to that page, there is no attachment currently. So what we have to do right now is stand on a stool, and that crank right now is in that picture. We have to physically crank that for 5 minutes to get the hoop all the way up. So, and obviously, right now the 3 Parks and Rec staff can do it, but not every staff member in the building can do it, just physically. So it's just something that I know for our commission, and it's just so it takes us about 5 minutes for the first hoop. By the time you get to the 6th hoop, you're up to 8 or 9 minutes just because you're tired. So just as you can see that handle, that's the handle you got to get to. So you stand on a stool. We have and then you got to get to that handle to actually crank it.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. So what we had intended for this project was, like I said, a winch winder. That has not been submitted. There was some confusion with the subcontractor. They have clarified that they have it and they can provide it. But in the sense of this conversation, I think what Mark was saying is that staff person still has to go up on a ladder to reach that. And that, felt like it was kind of putting more onus on the staff to do that part. So that's approximately $1,500 would come back as a credit. I know that's going to, sort of offset this just a bit. But ultimately the final situation would be, a staff person is able to control that. And certainly, Mark and everyone will handle who does that, but they would have more opportunity for who is able to sit on the ground and press a button as opposed to climbing a ladder and doing a cardio workout.
Yeah, and I think we're also, thinking about this, for years in advance too. I mean, this is, next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. The amount of time that Mark and his staff has to spend cranking these things up starts to add up. So something else just to think about. I know Mark in our OAC meetings he's been bringing this topic up quite frequently.
Because he's doing it.
Because he's doing it.
And not only that, and the residents are getting frustrated. Just we have to shut the gym down. For example, anytime they want to play pickleball, well, you can't play pickleball without hitting the hoops. So anytime there's a rental, pickleball, anytime there's pickleball time, we have to raise the hoops. And same for soccer. So that, yeah, the residents are frustrated. They would like, but yeah, we just got to allow time to transition to get those hoops up.
Hmm.
I think it's excuse me, it's a good idea. The issue I have is at this cost, you have to go out for public bid. I don't think O'Connell's gonna, if we try to do it a change order through the contracts, it's gonna be a long time before we see these. So.
Yeah, so Dave, that was
We need
more
to
or less
either
why
put
I
a,
wanted to present this. It's because I think with Katie's information, we could reach out and on the town side. I don't have any concerns about, warranty issues or anything along that line. Due to procurement, yeah, anything over 10K, I would have to publicly solicit, and we're willing to help with that, Colliers. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a full advertised big process.
Yep.
Or you could do two of them and get a quote and get it, but yeah, I think those should be motorized.
Yep. So if there's no further question, like I said, I'm recommending the not to exceed right there, the 45K.
And Trey, okay. So, and
I
that
think
would
that's a bit
include,
low, actually, to run all that power, all the conduit. But if that's your estimate, okay. At least
I mean, that's where
have a
I'm
good
coming
bid.
in at.
Okay.
By no means am I an estimator. I did talk to a few of my estimator friends yesterday about this. And I said about 1,000, linear feet of wire and conduit, and that's where I got these numbers from.
Okay.
But again, if this were to come even higher, I'm just saying I think this is something to consider to not to exceed for the time being. And if we do get these numbers and they are climbing, obviously that would be brought to the committee.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to prove you guys actually go out and bid this. And we'll
Yeah.
see what the numbers come back, and then we got to approve that contract, whatever the value is.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's the way to proceed.
so the motion's not going to be a not to exceed number. The motion is to go out and secure pricing for it.
Yeah, is
Correct.
to authorize Colliers to go out and put a package out on the street, or, whether it's Colliers or our, town manager, we can pay for the advertising and do all the bid opening and all that stuff. We just need a package to put on the street. And I would say you would be, the electrician would be the prime. You'd have to get a painter because we want to paint the conduits, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's what I had in the miscellaneous material and
Yeah,
stuff here.
yeah,
Yeah.
but probably I'd have, because it'd be a filed sub bid.
Hmm.
So you have the electrical contractor also be the prime.
So
Okay.
assuming it is 45,000, just to pick a number, that's basically 1/7 of the remaining contingency.
Yeah, if it goes through yeah, if that that's coming out of the project budget, correct, Dave?
Correct. Yeah.
In your numbers, is the 1.1 that Mook is demanding, is that been accounted for anywhere?
There is a placeholder in for it, as I mentioned.
That's why the contingency is so low.
Yeah, I have 350K in there.
Okay, but 350K is 1/6 of what today's or yesterday's demand letter was. And so I think we've got to start giving consideration that between the bills, what you want to have done, what is left in the budget, what legal fees are going to be, guys, we're beginning to get low to the end of the amount that's
I
been
agree.
raised and appropriated.
And
And
I agree.
I mean, so as much as it's a pain for Mark and his staff, I mean, if we didn't have the money, we wouldn't be doing it. And what I'm looking at right now is we could be looking at an overrun upwards of 7 figures. I understand there's a dance that's going on between the contractor and their lawyer and what's going on, but um, we've got to think about this because we could run out of money and then what gives?
So
Mhm.
just thank you, Dave, for that, for those comments. With these basketball hoops, this is what we would be doing. What we're doing is we are authorizing Collier's project leaders to go solicit for bids to motorize the operation of the basketball hoops, and there's not a cost associated with that.
Right.
Okay, so once we get the bids, then we will have another meeting and vote to see if we approve that, to do that or not. So we're not approving recommending for approval to do it. We're just want to go out and get some bids, get some numbers, see where we're at.
I understand. I had to spit out the obvious here that we could be, I mean, way over budget. And going back to the town, I'm just looking at all the other capital items that are on our budget and the operating pressures with a 19% healthcare increase coming in across the board. We've got some serious budget issues coming in, and the appetite for this, I don't know what it's going to be. I'm just letting you all know that we've got to start keeping an eye on the ball. And we knew that there were other things that you wanted to do. And this may come down to you all are going to have to choose what the order of that is.
Mhm.
Right. Yep. No, understood. Okay. If there's any more discussion on if there's no more discussion on the basketball hoops, I will. Is there any more discussion?
No,
No?
do we
Okay. From the
need,
from the committee, anyways.
no, I think we just released Colliers to get us market numbers for that.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to authorize Collier's project leaders to solicit for bids to motorize the operation of the basketball hoops in the recreational court. Is there a second?
Second?
Are you in favor? David,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had for PCOs and soft costs to present this evening. So total contingency, the original total was 2.4 million. To date, 1.5. Potential changes, we got this 671 plugged in. So worst case scenario, I'm at 218, 852, and now that's with the placeholders and everything that I've mentioned and presented in the hard costs and soft costs that we're carrying. Any questions there?
Okay, so the 671 includes the 350 for O'Connor.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have a slide, Trey, of what the what these placeholders are? I know you've had them. You have in the
Yeah, I think
past
so.
in your presentations had a slide on it. There we go.
Yeah. So rain barrel ASI 54, like I said, PCO 111, the additional benches and pads, replacement trees south side of the lot, seat walls, the VE paint planting, that's a big number, the vertical trellis. So they're all in there. Yep.
Okay.
So let's just if we can just I think it's helpful to understand that within this budget, which is lowering our, contingency, if you can go back, we've got placeholders of, for instance, $250,000 more of landscaping. I mean, there's money which we've got placeholders for, which has not been spent.
Correct.
And obviously before we go spending any substantial amounts of money, obviously we need to know where we're running with this whole project. So I just want to
Right.
point that out.
And there's going to be other things like the parking lot restripe and whatnot. I mean, there's going to have to be some money left over to address issues as we move forward. But I've made my point. I thank you for hearing me out. But it is very much on our mind that we are getting close to the bottom of the barrel. And it's too bad because the Board of Selectmen were looking forward to some of that contingency to do other things around the downtown community. But I guess that's a pipe dream that's just evaporated. But I'm still looking at, Mook, you put 350, but it's 1.1 is what they're looking for. And then they've now got an outrageous new demand that's twice that.
So, okay. All right. Thank you. Trey?
All right, we'll move on. Invoices. So landscape forms. This is for the outdoor furniture, which has been delivered and set up. That is in the total of 19,740. MOCC, their contractor, pay app 26. So this invoice total was for $545,009.81. We are recommending approval for $404,605.15. I'll go through these, and if you have any questions, we'll touch on them. H. Perrin, this is a locksmith. So this was half of what they were called out for a different building. So that is $443.34. Eagle Leasing and Storage. We've had this monthly for the storage for $398. BCM Controls. This was a soft cost for additional card readers, and they are almost built out completely. They have a little work left to do, but this is the bulk of it for $30,756.98. Strawberry Hill Landscaping. This is for the spruce up for the grand opening and some additional plantings for $95,000. And then MOCC's pay app 27. This is originally an invoice amount for $82,774.79. And we're recommending approval for $55,638. And then Griffin Electrical, they had a direct payment request. They're the electrical filed subbidder. Their invoice amount was for $110,507. After doing a lot of reviewing, their remaining balance for to pay them out completely is $316,1412.
And Trey, can I just double check? You said Strawberry Hill 95,000. Did you mean 9,500?
9,500. I'm sorry.
Okay.
They got a raise.
They got a big 10%. 100% actually. Excuse me. Are there any questions?
A lot of them. Dick, how do you want to go through this?
Well, let's just start with if you can go back to is there any discussion on landscape forms? I mean, all this money, I mean, this just to be clear, this is all within the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything on top of what we were just discussing?
Yeah, did we approve a proposal for Strawberry Hill? I just don't remember. Or did they just kind of do it and this is the bill?
I believe we did discuss it and approve it.
Okay, now I just don't remember. Why don't we go through landscape, Perrin, leasing, controls, Strawberry Hill, and leave out Connor and Griffin for the minute. So let's sort of get those out of the way.
Yeah, good idea. Okay. So just need to do a little addition here. So somebody can check me. So we're going to go 19,740 plus Perrin, which is 4,443. Eagle BCM.
But 60,838.32.
Yep, that's what I got too.
Okay.
38.
What I got as well.
Okay. All right. I move we approve payment, recommend to the Board of Selectmen for payment of the following invoices. Landscape Forms at 19,740, Perrin at $443.34, Eagle Leasing at $398, BCM Controls at $30,756.98, Strawberry Hill at $9,500 for a total amount of $60,838.32. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, are you in favor? David,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
and I'm yes as well. Okay, so that takes care of those guys, and now let's discuss O'Connor and Griffin.
Yeah, let's do Griffin because that's a little simpler. So the 36,000 zeros, I know they added additional claims which we're rejecting. That's
Correct.
between Griffin and O'Connell. So does this zero out the electrical contract?
Minus the balance remaining for the monetized punch list
So,
items.
all right, so there's still monetized punch list that you took out of it. Okay,
$6,675.
okay,
So this would zero them out minus the monetized punch items for 606. So their remaining balance, including retainage, would be $6,675. That would be the remaining balance for Griffin Electric. Again, seeking approval for the 36,114.12.
okay. So why don't we do a motion on that?
Why don't we do that? I move we recommend for payment Griffin Electrical in the amount of $36,114.12. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, are you in favor, David,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
and I'm yes also.
So we need to back that balance out from O'Connell's contract value.
Correct.
Okay, so the 1.1 that we had in our budget for remaining for O'Connell is now less that.
Correct.
Okay. So the two O'Connor invoicing.
Start with pay app 26. So this is a bigger one.
Well, they're both bringing the contract value below the level of our claim against them. Correct? We have a claim of, I thought, 1.2 million for liquidated damages. I mean, I'm trying to go back to the last memo I saw from Phil. So maybe Trey, you can update us on what is our current claim against them.
So LDs, GCs, currently and with holdings. So the LDs we're holding roughly 390K. Okay. PCO 111 is the general conditions extension and schedule and final compensation.
Well,
So
that's their claim against us.
correct. So
What-
our claim for withholdings is roughly 390K.
All right. So that's all right. So we need to back out that. So that allows us to, I mean, I guess one question, we need to mark up these recs to see exactly, because it's saying, if I look at Rec 27, it says balance to finish is 0, including, so I look
That's
at
their
that
final,
double
that's their
campaign.
final rec that they were trying to rec out for the remainder of the job.
Right, but we
And
haven't,
again,
they're showing an
you're right.
incorrect balance of what we've actually paid them.
Correct.
Um,
And my budget block is what is showing withheld within our claims. So if I'm to plug in these approved recs, you're going to see that we still have more or less 404 or 550K still withheld.
Okay, so what is the current value of the punch list?
Monetize wise,
Yes.
so that's what this whole breakdown is here for. That I included in the app here for payment application 26. So balance to
Oh, okay.
remain. So 74K.
So that's the 55 plus the 18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then if you go into 27, you got that 8. So that's the 15 plus this 18 equals that 72. Again, with the direct payment for Griffin, that's at the bottom here, and I've broken that out. So that's not included in this monetized section, David, just to let you know.
Okay, no, so that's about 74,000.
Yep.
Plus the 400, so we need to hold about 475,000.
And we have that withheld
Okay, that's kind of the
currently.
math I needed to see.
Yeah. So like I
In order
said,
to understand what we're approving and why.
I absolutely, and I wouldn't release that if that was the case. So with the markups that I've provided, please, if any of you guys have questions, I'm here to answer them. But we reviewed this with town council, and they're recommending releasing of these funds.
Okay.
That was going to be my question. So
Yeah, Dave. So Nina's been brought involved in this, and
Yeah,
she,
no,
yeah.
I'm sure. We just need it clearly marked out
Yeah.
exactly where all these numbers are. So, and then that needs to get certified by the architect that's the approving really before.
Yeah. Both of I got to get notarized copies of these. Absolutely. Yep.
It's, I agree, we should be paying them, but we as a committee should not be voting on something that's needs to get really marked up and certified. Now that we've gone through the math, I'm not opposed to it, but as a public committee, we need to be able to vote on it in order so that it can get to the selectmen and get paid. We
Mm-hmm.
can't pay this.
Understood.
Okay.
Next process. Yep.
So if we need another meeting, subcontractors are waiting for their money. So we
And
need to be able to pay them, although, we're holding O'Connor to the contract. He still needs to get paid so he can pay his subcontractors.
Yep. And I think the whole point of this exercise, we could be seeing more direct payment requests.
Yeah, which we really don't want to do, because that's if we it gets complicated, because we really should put it in escrow and do all sorts of things.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
So if we can get this paperwork together quickly, can we do a quick, one item meeting in order to approve it?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can get these monetized or notarized and signed off by the end of the week, and we could set something up for the beginning of next week for just these two pay apps.
When is the selectmen next meet?
we just met last night, so bear with me. The 18th.
next Thursday.
Okay, so yeah, if we can get something early next week for like, just need to
Monday,
post it
Tuesday.
technically, but
Yeah.
How's, okay, let me ask then, availability. David, are you available
yeah, I'll be around next week.
on Monday night or Monday?
Yeah.
Ruth?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I'm
I'm
around
around.
Monday.
Okay, today's Wednesday. Yeah, we could do it on Monday.
Yeah, you'd have to post it tomorrow.
I have to post it tomorrow. Yeah, so, well, do you want to do 6:30 Monday?
Yeah, again, it should take 5 minutes.
All right. Trey, does that work for you?
Absolutely.
6:30 Monday. Okay, I'll post that. And the agenda item will be for invoice approval.
Yeah, Dick, I think it's just the one item. Yeah.
Yep.
Would you also have to look at number 27, pay app 26 and 7?
Yeah, it would be both of those, Dave. Yep.
Yeah, I would do it's the same calculus though.
Yep.
Because I'm assuming 27 is taking more punch list stuff off. Okay. And does that take care of all retainage? So we're only left with the monetized punch list?
That is correct, David. Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, it would just be
Yeah, and that's
here. I'll go to
appropriate. I mean,
27 shows it better. It'd be the 18 plus 6,675. So these two numbers. That's it.
Okay.
And again, my only question is if Nina's good with this, then
Yeah, it's
literally in her
formality, and I
hands.
apologize not having that executed and signed and notarized.
And so I'm
Um,
assuming we're going to be holding, I mean, it really takes us down to the level of our claim. So, yeah, I mean, this will be
Yeah.
the final rec that we can
Approve.
approve.
Yeah.
And the rest will be up to Nina.
Right.
Any further questions?
Nope.
Okay. Citizens' comments? What was the next agenda item? Dick, I'll let you take it from here. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Trey. Are there any citizen comments? Okay, not hearing any. Future business recommendations? And future meeting dates. Typically, we're doing the second Monday of the month, which would put our next, not our next building committee meeting, but our building committee meeting in January on the 12th. How does that look for you, Ruth and David,
The 12th.
and Trey and Katie?
I already have it in my calendar, so I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be
that
fine.
work, Katie?
Yeah, it's in my calendar as well.
Okay.
I have them set
Kate,
through 2028. Are we going to go that long?
No,
Thank you. Good.
the answer is no.
Thank you.
Dick, unfortunately, I do have another meeting already on the 12th. I hate to do it to you guys, but what's left to go over? Do I need to
Not
be there?
much. I mean, I'm not sure we'll really, I mean,
Yeah.
do we need one? What other invoices are we approving? Because we really can't do much until we have this claim settled, because I don't think
Yeah.
we can spend any of the other money on plantings or any of the other stuff
Right.
until this thing's resolved, and this could take, months.
Yeah, I agree, David. I think, I mean, a few of these ASIs that are out, like once we get the numbers for those, like that would be something to review. But
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any additional work out of O'Connor. So the gutter or the whole fix over by front entrance and all that, we're gonna have to find other ways of doing it.
Yeah.
So that may be another discussion. But let's see what happens with O'Connor.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's Tuesday instead of doing Monday, right? I mean, what about Tuesday
Yeah,
the
that's fine.
13th? You know, so Dave Haviland, you could
I can do that. Thank
do
you.
that. Okay. Does that work for Trey and Katie and Ruth?
You said, I'm sorry, January 15th?
January
13th.
13th,
13th.
Tuesday.
So that actually works better for me. I do have a building committee meeting at 5 on the 12th, but if we're doing 6:30, I think I could power through. But the 13th, I'm wide open, which would be better, personally.
Katie?
Yeah,
the
that
13th
works
work
for me.
you?
Yep, works for me.
Okay. Well, why don't we do, we'll do the 13th, Tuesday the 13th then. Okay. I should just mention there's a couple of items which we've been getting feedback on. I mean, we're getting a lot of positive feedback on the community center, and I think it was interesting, Mark's comments, which I enjoyed listening to, with the kids coming to their programs and all the parents are hanging around. I think is a wonderful sign. We've got a nice
Yeah.
space for them to hang out in, as opposed to hang out in the hallways of the old gymnasium of the old school building. So I thought that was, that was nice to hear. We do have comments have been the parking lot, the striping on the parking lot. The parking spaces are tight, and we've been receiving a bunch of comments about that. So we have FM has looked at solution for that, and it would be a process of eliminating 5 spaces, seal coating the parking lot, restriping. This would be done by the town. We're still getting the information together, but I just wanted to inform the committee that we are, there have been comments about the parking spots being too tight. We're working on
Aren't
a
they
solution
standard?
to have a minimum
Aren't they
of 9
standard
feet.
size? They're like,
What's that?
aren't they standard 9 foot wide?
No.
They're 8 by 18 feet.
Oh, they're 8-footers.
They're 8-footers, they're not 9s.
All right. Yeah.
So-
no,
So the proposal would be for a minimum of 9 feet. Some of them might
Yeah.
be a little bit more just because of where the curbs are, but it would be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
minimum
yeah,
of 9
okay.
feet.
Okay.
So I just wanted to mention that. And the other item we're getting a bunch of comments on is the parking lot lighting, which as you heard from Mark earlier, we're working through the adjustment of those lights, the exterior light poles and everything. And so we're working on it.
Okay.
So just wanted to mention those items. Is there anything else? If not, then I move that we adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Are you in favor, David Billings?
Yes.
Brooke Townsend?
Yes.
And I am in favor too. Thank you all very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good
Thank
night,
you all.
everyone.
All right.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
night.
Thank you.